Invideo and Higgsfield both built AI agents that can take your script and help you turn it into a finished film. But if you use the wrong one, you will pull your hair out in frustration and burn through credits with nothing to show for it. I spent thousands of my own credits on both tools to test which one is best at making AI films and when you should use the alternative. Quick note, Invideo is sponsoring this video, but I'm gonna show you real test results. I don't do advertisements. In fact, let's start by talking about how great Higgsfield Supercomputer is. This thing can create video games, scan the internet, ship AI ads, make websites, and 3D models. For your general agent-assisted workflow across all sorts of different industries and use cases, Supercomputer is great, but I haven't tested it for one thing in particular: film creation. Invideo's Agent 1 is specifically designed to be an agentic assistant for professional projects like ad campaigns and AI films. I've used Agent 1 to turn a real movie script that I wrote into a film, and today I want to see how Higgsfield Supercomputer holds up when I put it through the exact same workflow. And I'm taking you along every step of the way. First, let's jump into the workflow on Agent 1. To create my film, I just uploaded the script and said I want to create a storyboard for this film. This created my first agent, who I'll name the storyboard agent. The storyboard agent analyzed my whole script, and I directed it to prioritize the first few pages for creation, starting with character creation. This is when Invideo built out an entire context library for the agent to refer back to whenever it's working on the film with me. This includes characters, locations, themes, and plot points from the script, which will keep us locked in for every tweak and generation going forward. Higgsfield Supercomputer was quite different. I uploaded my script into Supercomputer and said, let's make this into a movie, starting with the first 5 pages. Now it's prompting us to do the same sort of thing as Invideo did, which is start with character design. Except Higgsfield has access to their own soul cast image model and wants us to proceed with that. Let's give it a shot. The next question is, how long should the generation be for the first 5 pages? We've got 60 seconds, 90 seconds, or 120 seconds. This is where Supercomputer's lack of film understanding starts to show, because generally films are written in a way that each page of script is about equivalent to 1 minute of screen time. So by asking to generate the first 5 pages, I'm effectively asking to generate the first 5 minutes of the film. I don't decide the duration independently. So I tell it I want a full narrative length film, and now it's got another sequence of questions for me. But these are pretty much the same as before. Yes, we'll try Soul. And the second question says single film generation capacity is 12 clips. And it's giving me a couple of options of how to work within this constraint, but I don't really see why it's so difficult for Supercomputer to grasp that I just want to generate 5 pages of the film on a shot-by-shot basis. I have no idea what it's talking about with this 12 clip limit thing. So I clarify the approach that I want to take, and now it seems like it understands better, and it's automatically asking to generate some image references for our main character, Kate. We'll do that, and here are the results. I'm not super happy with any of them, but Supercomputer already wants to move on to generating video when we haven't even finished with the character creation yet, so I have to guide it back. Let's continue with the characters. Now we have generations for the other members of Kate's family. These are important characters that we need, but frankly, all of these generations kind of suck, and they don't stay super true to the descriptions that I have for them in the script. I think that the problem is the soul cast model, so I'll ask Supercomputer to try again with Nano Banana Pro. The resulting Pro generations look much better, but these aren't actual character sheets for multi-scene reference. So I have to ask Supercomputer to make character sheets out of these. And what it gave me looks okay on first glance, but when I looked closer, I realized that the characters on these sheets are different than the characters in the original images. That's okay, these mostly look fine, except for the boy Paul. I want him to look a little bit more unkempt. So now it's given me 2 new versions of Paul, and neither one of these is the same kid as before. They look similar, but they aren't the same. I also think the dirtiness is heavy-handed here, but before I could say anything, the Supercomputer already locked this as Paul's character reference, and it wants to move on. I can always ask to change him, but this whole process is just kind of exhausting. I mean, the Supercomputer agent feels like it's rushing me through, and it's like, okay, done, what's next? Before I can even take a glance at what it created. The character sheets that I've got now look mostly fine, but they're missing some key descriptors that I put in the script. Like, Paul should have bruises on his arm, and Kate should be wearing tennis shoes instead of boots. Overall, it just kind of feels like Supercomputer scanned through this script really quickly and never paid attention to the details. invideo's Agent 1 took a lot longer on setup to scan through my script, but during that process, it built out an entire context library for the story. So when I created characters with it, they took way less iterations and were way more story accurate. Not only did Agent 1 give me the looks for the characters in the first part of the film, but it also created character sheets with prop and wardrobe variations that would be used later in the movie. The craziest thing about Agent 1, and the reason that the results were so much better in my opinion, was not just the context library that it's sourcing from, but the fact that it analyzed all of the generations provided by Nano Banana Pro, and if something looked off or rendered wrong, it would automatically rerun the render with a prompt adjustment. This is much more of like a real teammate. Talking with Agent 1 feels collaborative. It doesn't like try to rush me through things. And it had a perfect understanding of how to go about generating the story, starting with character building before moving on to locations and then video gen. Speaking of location gen, let's try that out with Supercomputer. It generated all of the location references for the farmhouse pretty quickly, but each one has something wrong with it. This kitchen one is the worst offender. There's a neighbor house visible outside the window when the home is supposed to be secluded in the story, like in a farm. There's also a weird handle on the fridge, and of course this creepy kid thing. There are more problems and plot inconsistencies in the other shots too, and I think that this is again because it defaulted to Higgsfield's sole location generation model. So it hasn't learned automatically from character creation that I prefer Nano Banana Pro. And again, it's rushing and it wants to move on to video gen. Let's try to lock down some better locations first. I'm gonna specifically tell it that I prefer Nano Banana Pro this time, and now it's saved that as a new memory, so hopefully we won't run into the same issues again. This new kitchen location looks pretty good, but the barn one isn't great. For some reason, it added a date stamp down here too. This farmhouse shot looks okay, but the home is a bit small and the framing is weird. Let's try to get a new version of this before we move on. Of the 3 new generations for the farmhouse, this one is better framing for the house, but I just realized that it's missing some plot elements like the barn that is supposed to be on the property where our main scene takes place. The location results from invideo's Agent 1 were way better looking and more accurate to my story than Supercomputer. On first try, the house had the barn, driveway, and even the father character's truck all pictured in the location reference on invideo, none of which are present here with Supercomputer. Still, I wanted to make the house in Agent 1's example further back from the road and look not quite so run down. After a quick request, the agent delivered perfectly. You can actually see how detailed the prompt it wrote for this is. It's wild. The next step with Agent 1 was to create start frames and reference images for the scenes of the movie. This process was super smooth, and while the initial reference frames weren't perfect, it was really easy to just ask for the tweaks that I wanted, and Agent 1 executed them in a couple of minutes. Now that we've got these, it's time to move on to video generation. For this, I created a second agent within the same project and named it Cinematographer. This agent has access to the same context library as the storyboard agent, so it's just as smart. Setting him up is just a good way to keep things specialized. Because the cinematographer already has all the context of our project, I just let it auto-generate the first scene. In this shot, Kate discovers that her brother Paul has stolen some money from her savings box.
Paul!
That was the first generation attempt from Agent 1, and I think it looks really good. And most importantly, all of the story elements are spot on. This is Kate, she looks like she's in her bedroom, and the tin savings box framing the shot is exactly how I imagined it. This just tells me that the context and script understanding for invideo goes way deeper. Supercomputer feels very surface level. Still, I want to move on to video generation to see if Supercomputer does well on that front, so let's lock the farmhouse location and generate the first shot. And Supercomputer has already lost some of the context from my script. The savings box should be tin, not wooden. Let me remind it. Now it wants to make a prop sheet, but we really shouldn't need one for this. And it agrees, so now it's given me the shot generation guide, but it hasn't mentioned anything about Kate's dialogue in this opening shot where she yells for her brother. So again, let me remind it not to forget the dialogue. And finally, we have a prompt ready for our approval. I looked this over and it all seems good, so let's see how the first generation turned out. This shot is pretty solid, although the ceiling behind her really should be white because this scene takes place in her bedroom. Let's see if we can edit that. Cool, that was pretty easy and fast too. This is quick. I will say one positive for Supercomputer over invideo's Agent 1 is Supercomputer seems to work faster. The invideo one took less video generations and less credits because we created a start frame and used Kling 3.0 for this one, which I think resulted in better facial expressions from Kate, but I do like the cinematic quality of the video generation from Seedance that Supercomputer gave us. Let's jump into a more complicated sequence with dialogue between Kate and her brother. Supercomputer wants to generate the scene shot for shot, which is a normal thing with all these AI agents, and I have to remind it that I want to use multi-shot generation using Seedance 2 for increased consistency across the different shots. It totally understood what I'm asking for, and it has given me a really solid beat list for that video. I'll review this prompt real quick, and it looks good, so let's hit generate.
Paul! What you do with my money? Take a chill pill. I didn't take your money.
This generation looks alright, but it really doesn't understand the script. This line from Paul is supposed to come much later in the scene, and we skipped a ton of the film just now. We've also got an issue that pertains to the location referencing. This is the correct barn location that we had locked earlier. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it is accurate. In this scene though, Kate is supposed to leave the farmhouse and then catch Paul behind the barn. And in the generation, she seems to come from the barn, though we do find Paul out at another barn which shouldn't exist, and the house is nowhere to be seen. We've got to remake this whole generation from the top. Now it's giving me 3 new clip beats and general information about how we'll generate each one with video reference. Everything looks good in this plan. This is exactly how I'd go about it. But the question is, will it actually produce a good result? Let's see how it goes for the first clip.
Paul! I thought you were Mom.
Well, the dialogue is in the right order here, but Kate's shout for Paul should be off screen and startle him, which makes him mistaking her for his mom much more believable. Again, all of this is in the script, but it seems like Supercomputer kind of lacked a understanding of the context. Let's try one more time.
Paul! I thought you were Mom.
Okay, from a timing and dialogue standpoint, this generation is solid, but we're still falling away from the location reference. We've got like 3 barns now and still no house. It's just so frustrating, and this is what happens when you don't start with a solid location reference to begin with. I had to generate each shot a number of different times when creating the rest of this scene with Agent 1 as well, but the things that I was tweaking between generations had more to do with how and where the characters stood, what the camera angle should be, and how many cuts I wanted in the scene. I never had one issue with a character or location inconsistency, and again, I think that comes down to having an amazing context library and good reference images. I continued to muddle through with Supercomputer and got the best combination of clips possible, and I'll show you the final result from Supercomputer versus the final result from Agent 1, and let you draw your own conclusion on what you think of the final product.
Paul! I thought you were Mom.
Yesterday, I closed my savings box and it contained exactly $57.23. I went to bed. What'd you do with it?
What the hell are you talking about?
I came home today and now it contains $48.23. What did you do with my money?
Jeez, what are you, the mob? Take your money. I don't need your money. I'm self-made. Besides, you want to be a musician, right? You've already chosen a life of poverty. Get used to it.
You get a new pack? Okay, yeah. When Dad gets back, you're dead.
You're dead, Paul. Oh boy, the bugs will be chirping tonight. Paul! I thought you were Mom.
What'd you do with it?
What the hell are you talking about?
Yesterday, I closed my savings box and it contained exactly $57.23. I came home today and now it contains $48.23.
What did you do with my money? Jeez, what are you, the mob? Take a chill pill. I didn't take your money. I don't need your money. I'm self-made. Besides, you want to be a musician, right? You've already chosen a life of poverty. Get used to it.
You get a new pack?
Okay, yeah. When Dad gets back, you're dead. You're dead, Paul!
invideo's Agent 1 wasn't perfect. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like it nailed all of the video gens on the first try. I mean, you can see my whole process for using it in the review that I'll link at the end of this video. But invideo did understand my world and locked it in way better than Supercomputer because invideo has that context brain for every project. It has tiny details about every character and location saved in here. Supercomputer doesn't have a memory like that, and it has just been insanely frustrating for film creation. So in the end, Supercomputer is great for things like testing AI models, creating games, running UGC ads, and any of the automated stuff that you would do with an LLM like Claude. But if you want an agent that's actually going to help organize and create AI films or ad campaigns, Agent 1 is the way to go. If you want to see my full test and review of Agent 1, check out this video up over here, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer them.